Yeah, even like once again, once the recording starts, I feel my energy shift a little bit. Like I'm like, oh, this could make the cut. This could.
There's
uh,
something about the way you are, James, that makes me feel so comfortable recording.
uh,
And I think part of it is I know that you can edit.
mm,
Yes. And that
mm,
feels good. Plus, I think we're just so comfortable with each other that
mm,
it's easy to talk about things.
mm,
Yeah, just feels good.
mm. The comfort has me just like relaxing into my chest a bit,
Mm.
just like softening.
Mm.
Mm. You asked about setting the stage, setting the context for what's going on in Charlotte.
Yes.
There's a hmm, it's been really beautiful recently, the emergence in the Sacred Roots community, which is where we're hosting the Relateful retreat at, is at the Sacred Roots cabin, of
Mhm.
people, more and more people leading things that they feel called to lead. So someone just started Tammy just started a death cafe. A few others started a trauma support group. Um, oh man, I'm definitely forgetting. Not I'm not the only weirdo. That emerged. That emerged earlier this year. Becky planned a camping trip. Um, so there's like this people going dancing outside of the groups. There's like a real vibrant sense of relatefulness being a practice as a part of this community. And I see your head, it's like a savoring. There's
It
a
is.
just like, this is so cool that in the context of all this emergence and creation, co-creation, there's also this like real grounded uh way that the relateful aspect of our community seems to support us, of having this weekly chance to drop in and be a bit more open or be a bit more authentic or relational with where we're at. And it seems like a really like it provides all this energy for our community. And also um I trust what I it feels really good what's coming out of it.
Oh, it does. When you said I feel so much joy. It's
Mm,
sometimes I think of the relateful practice when we do it intensely, like we do it intentionally, we do it in
mm,
a session or we do it in a weekend or an immersion or whatever,
mm,
right? That it's like a gem.
mm,
And in one way, it's like a gem. And in one way, it's so much more than a gem. But in one way, it's a gem. And we're building the muscles. And then we take them out everywhere. We take
mm,
that honed and strengthened sense of how to be with ourselves and others in an honest and loving way. Um,
mm,
and then we take it on our camping trips and we take it into being weird and we take it everywhere, right?
mm,
Um, and it makes so much sense. It
mm,
feels like we take it into life, into living, stepping in. Yeah.
mm.
That's what instead of nodding my head, yes, I can like this. And it's like I'm tasting it and going, so
It's
beautiful.
it's this to me is it's almost hard to believe. It's hard to even wrap my hands around the largeness of what it feels a part of.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And even more specifically, yesterday we had a gathering, and the particular format that happened was a fishbowl where four of us went into the inside and the other, I think about seven people stayed on the outside and just got to witness and imagine what it was like to be those on the inside. Um, and we did that for 25 minutes, and then we came back as a big group. So that I'm even kind of just still integrating. One thing that's so cool, I say still integrate. I think I'll always still be integrating even weekends from years ago. It's like things continue, and part of what feels this I have this image of a forest or a garden. The soil is so rich that we're in. Ah.
Yeah. How is it for you? You started this.
Mm, mm,
Basically, you were the only person
mm,
doing relatefulness in Charlotte. How
mm,
how is it to experience
mm,
things popping up, other people
mm,
creating and leading things and
mm. There's my chest feels more relaxed when I notice compared to when I started, there was some more anxiety about who's gonna come tonight. We're doing a retreat. Will anyone come?
yeah.
And now it's it's there's it feels a lot lighter. There's still a little of like, oh, like um will enough people who could benefit from this get to? And there's also a little like, oh man, I feel better when a lot of people go. It feels cool. But mostly I'm in I tonight I get to go and savor and enjoy and have a good time, and I'm not really worried about like for this retreat we've already got 7 people signed up, I want to say. I when like if these 7 are the only that go, am like this is going to be so good.
We'll have a great time. Yeah.
So there's a lot of relief, and there's also a in my the way I've been leading recently too, I've been feeling less pull to need to be directional or make stuff happen. I'll like notice a lot more times where it seems like the group, like I can't really differentiate if I'm leading or if I'm just a part of the group. And it's like, oh, the group's leading too. Like they like they're following whatever thread relatefulness is on.
Whatever thread relatefulness is on, it's as if there
Mm,
is,
mm,
it is, as it, when you say that, it's as if, um,
mm,
if we want to call it relatefulness, is actually expressing itself through
mm,
individuals
mm,
and through a collective, and
mm,
things are emerging.
mm,
Like the ground is so fertile
mm,
that it's just happening.
mm. And even to give more concrete details for someone who may not be as clear on what we mean, last night at the gathering, someone said, so someone felt a mothering energy, like they wanted to care for someone else. Someone like allowed themselves to lay their head on that person's knee and be like comforted by them. Someone else shared, I felt jealous of your courage to lay your head on their knee because I want to be able to do that, but I don't feel able to. And like these are things people are bringing and that are being received
Yeah,
by the group.
yeah, it's gorgeous. It's just
Mm,
happening.
mm, ah, mm,
Yeah.
mm. And it has me wonder some of your impact or perceptions from the last retreat being here. And yeah, I can share more first about my view, or you can go first.
Well, I can't really know the impact.
Mm.
I left right after it ended.
Mm.
I knew that when I
Mm.
when it ended, I
Mm.
wanted more.
Mm.
It was, we had built something over the weekend, and then I was catching a plane that night, and it was like, oh, I have to
Mm.
say goodbye so fast.
Mm.
And I didn't get to be in the afterglow. Uh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, people continue to share takeaways that continue to surprise me and how impactful they feel. People saying, um, hmm, I don't, I don't, I don't have specifics, but it's like when I connect with the way they share, like what they share, it's like my chest is glowing, like the sun is coming out of my chest, and I can't, I continue to that like ongoing integration. It's like I can't wrap my head or like wrap my arms around all of life, like all the life that was cultivated in that weekend.
Mm.
Like I know some specifics are related to people feeling more open to express, people feeling more direct with what they can express, people noticing more clearly, oh yeah, that thing that I'm wanting from the group, I can bring more of that.
I bring that. Yeah, that seemed to near the end to be like,
Mm,
it's up to us to bring the thing we
mm,
want.
mm,
It didn't, yeah,
mm.
yeah,
Mm,
I'm looking forward to being there.
mm,
Um, with this beautiful group, and I only got to taste part of those people, but they're really beautiful, and
mm,
your way of being with them is beautiful.
mm, mm,
So it feels like an honor for me to get to step in to what you all have built and be a
mm,
part of it.
mm.
Uh, and the way you all welcomed me, I just felt
Yeah.
so like, oh, here, welcome, come on in. Right. Uh,
That struck me as well just now too, of like I work with teams a lot at my workplace, and there's often an initial skepticism that I have to overcome. Like, who is this guy? Is he going to try to make us wrong? And it's striking to me how when you arrived, I think people were crying within like 3 minutes or something. And I could be thinking of the second day. I'm not sure, but there was like this really seamless inclusion of you in the group and like celebration of like mm, not that crying is the measure or anything, but
yeah, yes, I'm sure there are people that'll be listening to this going,
yeah,
I really want to cry. Is
yeah, yeah,
that what this is about? And,
yeah.
but sometimes,
Mm,
especially in me now, tears are not in any way necessarily about being sad. They're about a depth of feeling.
mm,
Uh, just being below that ordinary place where
mm,
we talk every day into that place where we're really meeting each other in
mm,
kind of the holy of holies.
mm. Yeah.
And just being there brings tears. And then, of course, there's also the laughter. I remember lots of moments and just so much fun.
Mm,
Yeah, and I love that too. I love the way that we go really deep and then we just come up and there's
mm,
joy and fun and freedom.
mm. We do seem this feels like a continual thread in the Sacred Roots community is including play and spiritual evolution together.
Yeah, as if spiritual evolution doesn't have a lot to do with play
Yeah.
and it's one,
Uh,
you know,
yeah.
when it's the real thing, right?
Yeah, we're not like, all right, guys, quiet down. Time to get serious. Time to relate up. It's more of like just a uh bringing more presence to the aliveness that's already there. Like we already are really good at that.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I don't know what we're gonna do, James. It's gonna be exciting.
yeah. Wow.
In one way, it seems like a long time
Hmm.
until the date. I think it's the third week in October, right? And in another way,
Hmm.
it's just around the corner.
Yeah. It feels really close for me.
Yeah.
Um, hmm. Yeah, and in us exploring our hopes for the retreat or even just like our intentions going in, I'm holding really loose. Like when I lead weekly Tuesday gatherings, I have no plan going in. There, like my plan is to attune to the group and lead from a place of what's called for here. So there's some shared reality. We're in that as we show up to this weekend, and there's also like when I feel into my specific context of like what a weekend container can support.
Yeah.
There's a there's with that plant analogy. There's a putting seeds in the ground. There's a tilling the soil, and there's also a harvesting or a like sprouting that will
Mm.
happen. Like and that last one that I want to welcome if you are coming to the weekend and where you're at is you're like, I'm not ready to harvest shit. I just I'm in my soil right now. I'm not ready for transformation. It's like, yes, that's awesome. I am really actually excited for if someone brings that.
Yeah.
And there also is a way where I really feel like even at the community as a whole, we seem to be having these insights or breakthroughs that are happening. And I think the weekend will accelerate that.
Yes.
Hmm. Hmm.
The intentionality of a group of people. And by intentionality, I mean the being present with what is
Hmm.
allows for wherever a person is to be more fully here and witnessed and met by
Hmm.
the group and by something
Hmm.
some kind of energy within the group.
I even last night there was someone who continued to share like I don't understand what you just said. Can you say more? Like what is that what you just said, what does that mean?
Mhm.
And there was a at one point someone in the group named I love how you keep just being honest with what's true for you about not following what's going on or not like wanting more information.
I just did an immersion this past weekend
Uh,
here in Austin, Texas, and
uh,
it
mm,
went really well.
uh,
But before it, I wanted to have like just a loose outline. I just wanted to have a few things
mm,
that I knew we were going to do, right?
mm,
And just a little something, and knowing that it could move around and change. And every time I tried to put it down. I couldn't.
uh,
And I've just gotten to where I go,
uh,
I'm not supposed to put this down.
uh,
I'm not supposed to have a plan because this isn't about a plan, right?
mm.
And it seems like you have already gotten there where you're not even trying to plan. I try and it never works and it ends up great, but I still
Mm.
want it. And you've quit even wanting it, it sounds like.
One thing that surprisingly comes to mind when you say this letting go of planning, like a plan almost emerges in me of, and then I feel really light with it. Like
Yep.
I'll kind of bring it, and if it doesn't fit, I'll let it go. But we've done so many activities, so many like sessions, so many breakouts, so many pairs, so many
Yeah.
weeks.
Yes.
And we've had a few times where people have intentionally, through a structure, led these activities, but it's often more in a sort of co-creative context where I don't think people are claiming leadership.
Right.
And so it has me really wonder, like when I lead, it highlights ways of already being that then I get to see more clearly because of this power dynamic that I'm placed in. And it like accelerates my growth or accelerates my transformation around how I relate with others. So I almost want to put more structure around giving people chances to lead
Yes.
during the
Yes.
weekend. Yeah.
Okay. I just did that. I
Ah.
had people that were new to the practice and we got in smaller groups and we had them lead.
Hmm.
And it was so
Ah.
cool.
Hmm.
Yes. There's
I,
something
yeah.
about leading,
Hmm.
you know,
And I'm even like feeling into how my relationship with what leading means has changed
Mhm.
through this practice. I used to think I'm leading, now I'm responsible for um in one way the group's outcome. And I used to think also if the group's not going well or is like too silent or too something, I'm responsible for changing that. And now I feel a lot more of um there's an imaginary conch that as the leader I've allowed myself to claim. But really I could claim at any time. But everyone else knows I have this imaginary conch too. So there's some like deference going on. And um you I almost want to then pass the baton of I have more I could say, but I feel kind of stuck almost. I think you have more.
Mm.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we have this imaginary conch shell, right? It's a shell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in it you're listening. You're
Hmm.
listening to the sound. Uh,
Hmm.
and in that way we listen to what wants to happen next.
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
And the what is the it that we're listening to? It's something about it's it's in me and it's in the group, in our
Hmm.
collective.
Hmm.
What wants to happen?
Hmm.
And giving different people, having different people step in to being the chief listener. What do you hear? What do you hear that wants to emerge?
Yeah. And there's this magical way where until often I'm in that leadership seat, there's things I never heard before that I
Absolutely.
now hear.
So true.
And often I'll notice, oh, these were actually here the whole time. I just didn't notice them.
Right, right. And then I'm imagining somebody out there that's going to listen to this going, what if I don't hear anything?
Hmm.
What if I don't hear anything? Now I'm looking to you to answer.
Yeah. So I'm there's even a context right now. I'm leading this conversation. And what if I'm with you and I am listening as the leader and I don't hear anything?
Right.
And the first thing I feel pulled toward is noticing my longing to hear the group
Mm,
and noticing there's like this way my heart feels pulled toward like what's alive in the group, and I and there's some sadness of like I don't know, like I can't hear what it is, and just like exactly what I just did, just sharing that. And maybe like I'd probably ask someone in the group like what are you like what's going on for you, like I yeah.
yeah, yeah. Even that longing, the longing to hear awakens things in me. You know, we think it has to be some big thing, but longing, my God, longing
Yeah.
is amazing all by itself. It is a form of wanting, and um, and that's so powerful. Um, and yes, you'll see somebody's face animated or brows wrinkled or something, and you go, "Oh, it's with them." And I think that's just part of leading is noticing where it's emerging in the group.
And this touches on why I said it was an imaginary conch shell
Hmm.
is there's a way this hat of leadership, as I've led this practice more, I notice I can pick this hat up no matter the context I'm in. I could be in a meeting at work and be the least senior person in the room, and I can still, through how I share, lead the group in a direction. And the reason this feels so powerful when I imagine doing this with our crew in Charlotte is the emergence that's happening here of people leading all these other groups. It's like we're already leading. We're already leading as a participant all the time, and we're already leading all these other groups.
Right.
And so there's already ways that our dynamic with leadership is playing out.
Mhm.
And I love the relateful container for bringing awareness and transformation around the context of how we lead. And one like just to be really practical, one uh theme that comes up for me is I want like for those familiar with StrengthsFinder, my number one StrengthsFinder is significance.
Hmm.
And I took that test 8 years ago. I looked at it about a few months ago and I'm like, yep, that's still I'm a lot more I'm a lot less anxious around how I relate to it now, but I still really, really care about making a big impact and being perceived and recognized for that.
Hmm.
And so one way that I'll play out in groups for me is wanting um judging my worth by how the group goes.
Okay.
And so initially when I led circles, oh man, it's hard to even remember. I yeah, like one very specific theme is in the like desire to have the group go well, the session go well. I would avoid things that felt like confrontation or felt uncomfortable.
Yes.
And I wasn't even really aware I was avoiding them. It was just like my awareness wouldn't even let me follow those threads. And now I feel I'm still I'm still growing in this, but I feel a lot more able to be with the, like, embrace the discomfort as a necessary part, as a beautiful part. Like, uh I'd be denying part of our wholeness if I ignored that.
Absolutely. And
Mm, mm,
yeah, all of the emotions get to be there,
mm,
the whole spectrum,
mm,
um, get to be
mm,
there. And sadness or anger, they're just other emotions. They're part,
mm. Mm.
and I think our ability to be with
Ah.
conflict and with the different emotions and become comfortable with them,
Mm,
uh,
mm.
to where my shoulders don't tighten and I don't do this. We're like,
Yeah.
we could be with this. Yeah,
It has me connect with, and if I'm a as a leader, if I'm not able to welcome these things, it just creates this dynamic in the group where people, that part of them that doesn't want to welcome those things, is emboldened,
that's right.
whether they're aware or not. And
That's
then
right.
we as a group have these, I'm thinking of a group I worked with. This is in a work context, and there was this dynamic that I named of, it seems like we enjoy being dissatisfied. And the reason I named it is because we kept trying to talk about what was going well or what was working, and it was just impossible. And so, like, the part of me that wants to avoid conflict is like, let me try harder, let me ask more specific questions. But what was called for, like what allowed us to sort of um metabolize our, like, resistance to positivity, was naming, like, hey, we seem, yeah, like, yeah, what's going on there? And I can't track exactly what happened after that, but it did seem to soften, so, like, people being like, oh yeah.
There is nothing like naming things. Being able to name something, just bringing awareness to it often changes it in a delightful way. That's not in a push away, it's in an acceptance of, and therefore we can
Uh,
move on. Yeah.
so that even ties in a beautiful aspect of the leading too, is we'll have a chance to be doing debriefs with people after they lead, and
Yes.
we'll help be able to, and when I say help, I don't mean like I'm gonna tell people or we're gonna tell people, but it'll, like, emerge through the exploration of what were the things maybe they weren't naming,
Yeah.
or what were the things that they were beautifully naming. Oh my God, that flavor of what you just led. Let's just let's appreciate your leadership and what how that showed up. Oh, I'm getting excited talking about it. Just like feeling into how unique this experience of getting to be in the relational space around how we impact others and get to cherish that and debrief. It feels so meaningful.
That's just pure joy. Yeah.
Mm,
I'm getting excited
mm,
about the weekend. Being with you,
mm.
uh, is just making me go,
Yeah. Ah.
I am gonna have to go.
Okay. Thanks for staying later than I
Yeah.
know we initially just scheduled 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Val.
I hope this is okay. Is this a good?
This was great. This was great. I loved it. I'll definitely get some stuff from this that feel good.
Okay,
Yeah, just send me the recording whenever you get a chance.
I will.
Thanks, Val.
Love you,
All
Jane.
right. Bye. Love you.